Part 25.12, Surah Al-Furqan, the Criterion. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Sufi Essence with Hammad Syed. We continue our profound, deeply focused, and spiritually expansive study of Surah Al-Furqan, the Criterion, the majestic 25th chapter of the Holy Quran, whose very title establishes it as the ultimate, luminous separator between absolute truth and all forms of human error, confusion, and denial. Our immediate preceding part concluded with the powerful two-part divine command for the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Firstly, the absolute spiritual necessity to not obey the disbelievers, and secondly, the continuous, demanding directive to wage the great struggle jihad through the eloquent, uncompromising power and undeniable evidence of the Holy Quran. We also intently contemplated the majestic, observable sign of the two seas, the distinct, life-giving sweet water, and the vast, consuming bitter water separated by an invisible barrier, a powerful, visible metaphor for the absolute, eternal distinction between truth and falsehood. The ultimate critique in that segment was directed with surgical precision at the polytheists, whose act of supporting powerless, inert partners meant they were, in spiritual reality, acting as a backer against their sustainer. Now, as we proceed to the deeply reassuring, theologically foundational, and majestically descriptive verses 56 through 60, the surah's focus executes a crucial and definitive shift. The discourse moves entirely to the core, universal mission of the messenger and the absolute, unchallengeable, and undeniable power of the Creator who sent him. This segment serves a triple, crucial function. It establishes the essential, universal scope of the Prophet's peace be upon him role, defines the necessary, unbreakable spiritual bond of reliance between him and his sustainer, and then utilizes the ultimate, defining act of creation. The methodical establishment of the vast heavens and the earth is the definitive final argument against the self-willed deniers. The Prophet, peace be upon him, is affirmed with divine authority as a definitive bearer of good tidings and a warner for all people in all times, not merely a local preacher for the Arabs. His ultimate reward is declared to be solely with his sustainer, thereby decisively eliminating any and all expectation of worldly gain or material compensation from the deniers. The entire theological argument of the surah reaches a stunning climax in verse 59 with the precise, deliberate description of the Creator as Ar-Rahman, the most compassionate, who systematically established his complete, absolute control over the throne after creating the universe in 6 days, and who is the ultimate source of all knowledge and revelation. The final verse then confronts the sheer spiritual arrogance, the deliberate ignorance, and the destructive folly of those who refuse to even utter the majestic name Ar-Rahman, exposing their profound spiritual blindness in the face of such universal, manifest, all-encompassing power. Let us now absorb the absolute clarity of the prophetic mission, the necessary reliance on the eternal and the awe-inspiring majesty of the Creator of the entire universe. Quran, Al-Furqan, the Criterion. Chapter 25, verse 56. And we did not send you, but as a bearer of good tidings and a warner. The 56th verse immediately defines, with succinct and unchallengeable divine authority, the precise, comprehensive, non-negotiable role of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And we did not send you but as a bearer of good tidings and a warner. The structure of the Arabic sentence is deliberately emphatic, using a powerful device of exclusivity to stress that the messenger is sent only with these two defined, complementary roles. Nothing more, nothing less. Firstly, he is a bearer of good tidings. This means his mission is to deliver the joyous news of divine favor, forgiveness, and the eternal bliss of paradise to those who choose to believe, accept the Criterion, and live a life of righteousness and spiritual clarity. Secondly, he is a definitive warner. This means his mission is to clearly, unequivocally, and compassionately deliver the necessary, vital warnings of divine punishment, eternal consequence, and inevitable accountability for those who choose conscious disbelief, pervasive ingratitude, and transgression. This divine definition limits his personal responsibility. He is not responsible for forcing belief, nor is he accountable for the ultimate consequences of the denier's rejection. His singular total duty is solely to convey the profound message of hope and caution with absolute clarity to all people, leaving the final choice and the ultimate judgment to them. Kanzal Iman, Quran, Al-Furqan, the Criterion, chapter 25, verse 57, say, I do not ask any recompense from you for this, but that whoso wishes may take a path towards his sustainer. The 57th verse powerfully reinforces the Prophet's peace be upon him, absolute spiritual integrity and purity of intention, directly countering any suspicion from the deniers that he was motivated by base, worldly, or personal gain, which was a common cynical accusation levied against messengers throughout history. Say, I do not ask any recompense from you for this. The Prophet, peace be upon him, is commanded to declare openly and unequivocally that he seeks no recompense, no worldly wages, no material reward, no personal status, and no political power from the Makkans for delivering the eternal divine message. His immense difficult work is done purely and entirely for the pleasure of his sustainer alone. The only acceptable form of recompense, the only reward he spiritually seeks or desires, is one that is purely spiritual, benefiting the individual who chooses acceptance, but that whoso wishes may take a path towards his sustainer. The true, ultimate recompense lies in the Makkans or anyone in the world choosing, by their own free will, to take the path of truth, belief, submission, and righteous conduct back to their Creator. The choice is fundamentally made an act of personal accountability and free will, affirming that the entire profound benefit of the message returns exclusively to the one who humbly accepts it. Kanz al-Iman, Quran, Al-Furqan, the Criterion, chapter 25, verse 58, and rely upon the ever-living, who does not die, and celebrate his praise, and he is sufficient as the knower of his bondman's sins. The 58th verse is a central, powerful, and stabilizing command for the messenger, peace be upon him, and, by extension, for all believers, to anchor their entire existence, their great struggle, and their absolute reliance in the eternal, self-evident reality of the Creator, and rely upon the ever-living who does not die. This instruction to rely upon tawakkul alb, or to place one's full trust, is the essence of pure submission. Reliance is placed only on the ever-living Al-Kay, the one who is self-sustaining and the sole source of all life, and the one who does not die, contrasting starkly and absolutely with the fleeting mortal nature of the deniers and the complete powerlessness of their idols. The command immediately continues with the central, continuous act of worship, and celebrate his praise. Wasabi biwamdi. To celebrate his praise is to continuously glorify Allah, recognizing his perfection, his beauty, and his majestic regulation of all things. The verse concludes with a reminder of Allah's absolute knowledge, perfect justice, and all-encompassing awareness, and he is sufficient as the knower of his bondman's sins. This affirms that Allah is the ultimate perfect knower kabrub of the deepest, most concealed intentions, the most hidden actions, and the full extent of the sins done be of all his bondmen, all of humanity. This divine assurance provides immense solace to the messenger, guaranteeing that the full, necessary justice for the deniers and the full, immense reward for the believers is perfectly and precisely managed by the all-knowing, all-aware sustainer. Kanz al-Iman, Quran, Al-Furqan, the Criterion, chapter 25, verse 59. He who created the heavens and the earth, all that is between them, in 6 days, then established his control over the throne. He is Ar-Rahman. To ask about him from one who knows. The 59th verse is a stunning, comprehensive, and majestic declaration of the Creator's unmatched, universal and comprehensive power, deliberately setting the theological stage for the final confrontation. He who created the heavens and the earth, and all that is between them in 6 days, this vast, methodical act of creation kalaka, encompasses everything the highest reaches of the cosmic heavens, the entirety of the earth, and everything that exists between them from the air to the stars. The explicit mention of 6 days signifies a gradual, systematic, and intentional process, demonstrating divine power coupled with absolute, unfathomable wisdom. Following this immense act of creation, Allah established his control over the throne. The throne is conceptually understood as the highest point of creation, representing Allah's complete, ultimate, and absolute sovereignty and governance over all existence and all affairs. The verse then names the ultimate source of this power, governance, and sustenance. He is Ar-Rahman. So ask about him from one who knows. Ar-Rahman, the most compassionate, the all-merciful, is the fundamental defining name that encapsulates the all-encompassing primary nature of Allah's mercy, which pervades the entire universe. The final command, so ask about him from one who knows, directs humanity to seek true, deep, experiential knowledge, ilm, of this ultimate reality from those who possess it, namely the messengers and the people of profound spiritual insight. Kanzel, Iman, Quran, Al-Furqan, the Criterion, chapter 25, verse 60. And when it is said to them, prostrate before Ar-Rahman, they say, and what is Ar-Rahman? Should we prostrate to what you command us? And this increases their aversion. The 60th verse presents the dramatic, climactic, and sorrowful confrontation with the denier's ingrained arrogance and ingratitude, using the sacred name Ar-Rahman as the theological touchstone. And when it is said to them, prostrate before Ar-Rahman, they say, and what is Ar-Rahman? The command to prostrate to perform the ultimate, absolute act of humble submission before Ar-Rahman is met not with acceptance or submission, but with scornful, calculated ignorance. Their rhetorical, arrogant question, and what is Ar-Rahman, reveals their profound, willful blindness. They may recognize the name Allah in a general sense, but refuse to acknowledge the specific, defining attribute of all-encompassing, primary mercy, Ar-Rahman, an attribute that should compel and inspire willing submission. Their rejection is rooted entirely in their own self-will and false autonomy. Should we prostrate to what you command us? They reject the command not because of a flaw in the command itself, but because it comes through a human agent, the Prophet, peace be upon him, and fundamentally challenges their authority and established social norms. The result of this deliberate ignorance and stubborn rejection is severe and spiritually catastrophic, and this increases their aversion. The clear call to submission does not guide them. Instead, it solidifies and increases their aversion or flight from the truth, confirming their chosen spiritual fate. The verses command the believer to rely upon the ever-living who does not die and to celebrate his praise, particularly focusing on the name Ar-Rahman. This hadith describes the tremendous acquired reward for one who celebrates the praise of Allah. Hadith, narrated by Abu Hira, may Allah be pleased with him. The Prophet, peace be upon him, taught, two expressions are light on the tongue, heavy in the balance, and beloved to Ar-Rahman. Glory be to Allah, and praise be to him. Glory be to Allah, the Magnificent. Sahih al-Bukhari, hadith number 6406. This beautiful and concise hadith provides a direct, accessible, and practical application for the command to celebrate his praise mentioned in verse 58. The Prophet, peace be upon him, taught that these two specific phrases of praise are miraculously light on the tongue, easy and effortless to utter, yet possess immense spiritual weight for the day of judgment, making them heavy in the balance. And most importantly, they are beloved to Ar-Rahman. This emphasizes the profound spiritual efficacy and immense reward of simple, sincere remembrance and glorification. The specific inclusion of the name Ar-Rahman in the hadith directly links to the very attribute that the deniers tragically rejected and scorned 25 to 60. The very name they refuse to acknowledge is the name that accepts the most beloved and rewarding acts of worship from those who submit with humility. Let us now supplicate, drawing from the profound lessons of these verses, asking Allah to grant us a deeper understanding and to guide our every step. Dua, O Allah, Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim, make us true bearers of good tidings and warners to the world, and grant us the immense spiritual integrity to seek no recompense for the divine message, but only that people may take a path towards your sustainer. Let our entire existence and every moment of our lives rely upon the ever-living who does not die, and let our tongues be continuous and sincere in the celebration of your praise. We humbly seek knowledge of you, Ar-Rahman, and ask that our hearts and minds never suffer the spiritual ignorance and crippling aversion of those who question your majestic name, you who so perfectly created the heavens and the earth and established your ultimate control over the throne. May Allah illuminate your heart and mind with the light of this divine ill. May He make your channel a beacon of guidance for all who seek spiritual clarity and truth. May your efforts be a source of immense reward, and may you be granted the highest stations of paradise. May the peace and blessings of Allah always be upon you and your loved ones. May He grant you unwavering steadfastness on the path of truth, and may your work be a testament to His magnificent names, Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. Ameen.